February 2022. A highway outside Mississauga, Ontario. Snow on the shoulders. An armoured truck painted matte black rolls out of a small industrial unit most of Canada has never heard of. It looks like a cash transport van on steroids. A Ford chassis underneath. A welded steel body bolted on top. Bulletproof glass. Run-flat tyres. A vehicle built for bank trucks and VIP convoys, now being prepared for something else entirely. On the other side of the world, Russian tanks are crossing the Ukrainian border. Inside the Roshel factory, a phone call is about to change the company forever. The founder's wife, a Ukrainian woman, is asking one question. Can we send these vehicles to Ukraine? Can we send them now? It looked absurd. A commercial truck chassis, upfitted in a small Canadian workshop, against the largest conventional war in Europe since 1945. Western analysts dismissed it. It was not a real MRAP. It was not built by a famous defense giant. It had no combat pedigree. It had no NATO logo stamped on the hull. 4 years later, over 2,200 of those vehicles are deployed across Ukraine. They have survived direct first-person view drone strikes. They have limped back from minefields on 3 wheels. They have evacuated wounded soldiers from Pokrovsk, Vovchansk, Chasiv Yar, and the Kursk incursion. They have become the most numerous Western-built armoured vehicle in Ukrainian service by a wide margin. Its designation was the Roshel Senator, and it became the Canadian workshop truck that rewrote what mass-produced armour looks like in a modern war. To understand why the Senator exists, you need to understand the problem Ukraine faced in the spring of 2022. Ukrainian soldiers were moving to the front in soft-skinned pickups, civilian vans, unarmoured minibuses donated by volunteers. Russian artillery and loitering drones were turning roads into kill zones. Ukraine did not need the best MRAP in the world. It needed a lot of armoured trucks, built fast, moving now. Western allies faced a brutal bottleneck: the American Max Pro, the Australian Bushmaster, the German Dingo, the Turkish Kirpi. All were serious vehicles. All were slow to build. All cost between $800,000 and over $1 million per unit. Production lines had been idling for years. Into that gap walked a company almost nobody in the defense world had heard of. Roshel was founded in 2016 in the Greater Toronto area. Its founder, Roman Shimonov, was born in the Soviet Union, raised in Israel, and served in the Israeli ground forces before emigrating to Canada. Before Roshel, he ran an encryption business. His wife was Ukrainian. That detail would matter later. For its first 6 years, Roshel built armoured cash transit vans for Gardaworld and Brinks, VIP sedans, police vehicles. In 2020, a Roshel Senator carried NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley to the SpaceX Crew Dragon launch pad. That was the company's most famous moment. It was still essentially a high-end armouring shop. Then February 2022 happened. Within weeks, Roshel had shipped its first 8 senators to Ukraine, under a Canadian government contract. Within 3 months, a sole-sourced $92 million Canadian contract for 200 vehicles had been signed. All 200 were delivered in under 90 days. No Western defense contractor had ever shipped 200 armoured vehicles in 3 months. Not one. The vehicle itself is a masterpiece of deliberate compromise. The base is the Ford F550 Super Duty commercial chassis, 4x4, a 6.7-litre power-stroke turbo diesel V8 producing 330 horsepower, a 10-speed automatic transmission. This is a truck you can find in any rural hardware store across North America. That was the point. Gross vehicle weight came in at 8,845 kilograms. Length, 6 meters. Height, 2.5 meters. Crew capacity, up to 10 soldiers including the driver and commander. Top speed, over 100 kilometers per hour on road. Operational range, 800 kilometers on a single tank. The armoured crew capsule is a welded steel monocoque with a V-shaped hull for deflecting mine blasts. The vehicle is rated to Stanag 4569 Level 2 ballistic. That means it stops 7.62 by 39mm armour-piercing rounds at point-blank range. It is rated to survive an 8kg TNT equivalent anti-tank mine under any wheel or under the hull. It is rated to survive a 25kg side blast charge, and it is rated against 155mm artillery fragmentation at 80 meters. That is not the heaviest armour on the battlefield. A German Dingo 2 carries level 4, a Canadian Textron TRPV carries level 4, but those vehicles cost $1 million or more. They trickle off production lines at a handful per month. Roshel priced the Senator MRAP at approximately $600,000, less than half the cost of some German alternatives, and it began building 120 to 140 of them every single month. 2 weeks per vehicle, 5 vehicles a day, out of a workshop in Ontario, Every component of the vehicle was chosen for a specific combat consequence. The run-flat tires with on-the-fly inflation meant a Senator could drive out of a mine strike on 3 wheels. The reinforced windscreen meant the vehicle could absorb a first-person view drone impact on the front glass without penetrating the crew. The 10-soldier capacity meant a full infantry fire team plus wounded could be extracted in a single trip. The commercial engine meant any Ukrainian mechanic with Ford training could fix it. The spare parts existed in every country on Earth. Now, before we get into where this vehicle actually fought, if you are finding this deep dive useful, hit the subscribe button. It costs nothing, takes a second, and helps the channel grow. By summer 2023, Senators were being photographed on the road to Bakhmut. By December that year, Roshel had delivered the 1,000th vehicle. By autumn 2024, it was 1,400. By March 2025, 1,700. By December 2025, over 2,000. By March 2026, over 2,200 confirmed deployed. They went to the State Border Guard Service, the National Police, the National Guard's Omega Special Forces Detachment, regular line brigades including the 92nd, Internal Affairs Police Battalions, Ukrainian Special Operations Forces. The heaviest user was a unit called the Hart Brigade, border guards operating around Vovchansk in Kharkiv Oblast, where some of the most intense fighting of the Russian 2024 Kharkiv offensive took place. A Hart Brigade border guard using the call sign Sensei described one of the first moments the vehicle proved itself beyond any doubt. A Russian first-person view drone struck the Senator's front windscreen during a patrol. Direct hit. The vehicle kept moving. The crew was unharmed. The reinforced glass held. In August 2024, Roshel released 46 seconds of footage filmed from inside a Senator as a drone detonated against the hull. The camera shakes. Smoke fills the cabin. Then the passengers open the rear door and walk out, all of them. Shimonov's caption was simple. For 2.5 years, our vehicles have been protecting lives. By mid-2025, the signature Senator story had emerged. In June 2025, a video went viral across Ukrainian military telegram channels. A Senator MRAP was returning from a combat evacuation mission in Donetsk Oblast on the Pokrovsk axis. One of its wheels had been blown off by a mine. The vehicle kept moving on 3 wheels, on the tire pressure system alone, all the way back to the Ukrainian line. Wounded soldiers inside were delivered alive. Ukrainian soldiers had a name for the vehicle by then. They called it the Roshelka, a diminutive, a family word. Hart Brigade drivers told journalists the Roshelka passes without problems, even where ordinary pickup trucks can get into trouble. One of those drivers had been a freight forwarder before the war. Another had taught computer science. They said the Ford cabin was familiar enough that a week of training was enough to operate the vehicle in combat. Shock absorbers were easy to replace. Spare parts existed. That was the Senator's real secret. In December 2025, Shimonov posted thermal night vision footage of a Senator taking a direct drone hit near the front line. The vehicle keeps rolling. Shimonov's words were simple. The crew survived and was able to return safely because the vehicle continued to perform as designed. These vehicles are protecting lives and helping Ukrainian personnel make it back home. Not every assessment was glowing, and honesty requires including the dissent. Yuri Fedorenko, the commander of the 92nd Brigade's Achilles drone unit, told CBC News in June 2024 that the Senator was not designed to drive off-road, that vehicles broke down frequently in muddy terrain, and that the platform was better suited to law enforcement than to heavy combat. The Dutch open-source tracker Oryx, through late 2025, documented 176 Senators destroyed, damaged or captured. Against over 2,000 delivered, that is roughly 8 to 10%, a real combat cost, but a loss rate considered favourable for any Western vehicle exposed to Russian drone warfare. On paper, the Senator should not have beaten its rivals. The American Max Pro was heavier, thicker, combat proven across Iraq and Afghanistan. The Australian Bushmaster had a reputation for saving lives in Helmand. The German Dingo 2 carried heavier armour. The Turkish Kirpi was mass-produced and cheaper to some customers. In practice, the Senator offered something none of them could: speed of delivery, 120 to 140 units a month, continuously, from a single Canadian province, at roughly $600,000 apiece. The Bushmaster line at Bendigo could not match that rate. The Dingo line could not come close. The Max Pro surge production had long ended, and the Senator's commercial chassis meant a frontline mechanic could keep it running with commercially available parts. That was worth more than any armour rating in a war of logistics. By 2026, Roshel had stopped being a Canadian boutique manufacturer. The United States State Department had signed contracts worth $130 million for 330 vehicles destined for Ukraine. A joint venture had been signed in Prague with Omnipol in the presence of the Czech president. Moldova's police had taken delivery, funded by the European Union. Haiti's police were using senators against armed gangs. Brazil's Special Operations Police had ordered them. Bosnia had acquired them. A new 140,000 square foot global headquarters had opened in Brampton, Ontario. A 40,000 square foot plant had opened in Michigan. A 2 million square foot former truck assembly plant had been purchased in Springfield, Ohio. The company that had employed 200 people in early 2022 now employed over 500, and more than 200 of them were Ukrainian refugees and internally displaced persons, building armoured vehicles for their own country's defence. That last detail is the emotional centre of the story. A shop floor in Ontario where Ukrainians weld the hulls of the trucks that will evacuate other Ukrainians from the front line. Russia placed Shimonov on a personal sanctions list in August 2022. He called it a badge of honour. On February 24, 2026, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and Defence Minister David McGuinty announced the largest single Roshel aid package to date. 383 senators, plus 66 General Dynamics LAV-6 armoured vehicles, drawn from a $2 billion Ukraine commitment for 2026 to 2027. McGuinty visited the Brampton plant on March 17, 2026. His statement was plain. Roshel creates good jobs for almost 500 workers in Ontario and will help Canada deliver on our commitments to Ukraine. Shimonov's response was equally plain. Over 2,200 senators are now deployed in Ukraine. We are proud that this commitment will help save Ukrainian lives while supporting close to 500 jobs in Brampton and Mississauga. February 24, 2022. An armoured truck rolls out of a small industrial unit outside Mississauga. It was not beautiful. It was not revolutionary. Its armour was lighter than a dingo's. Its chassis was borrowed from a commercial pickup truck. It had no combat history. Its factory had never built anything for an active war, and yet it worked. It worked in the forests around Vovchansk, where Hart Brigade border guards drove through drone swarms and came back alive. It worked on the Pokrovsk axis, where a three-wheeled Senator finished a medevac run. Its wounded passengers should not have survived. It worked on the Kursk incursion, when Ukrainian troops crossed into Russian territory in the summer of 2024. It worked in Chasiv Yar. It worked in Bakhmut. It worked on the day a first-person view drone hit a windscreen and the glass did not break. It worked because it was cheap enough to build by the 100, fast enough to ship by the 1,000, and simple enough for a former freight forwarder to drive into combat a week after training. 200 Ukrainian refugees helped weld it together in Ontario. Over 2,200 of them now ride under it in Donetsk, Kharkiv, Sumy and Kherson. It was not elegant. It was not the most protected vehicle on the battlefield. It was Canadian, built on an American truck, welded by Ukrainians, shot at by Russians, and it saved lives every single week in the longest European war in 80 years. That is not luck. That is what happens when a small workshop answers a phone call and does not stop building. 200 refugees on a shop floor, 5 vehicles a day, over 2,200 trucks on the front line. That is the Roshel Senator, and it is still rolling.